Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I'm Ashton Doctor, your habit coach, and today we're going to be deep diving into understanding entrepreneurship, focus, understanding where your health comes into all of this, and then figuring out how to franchise it all out. So we have a very special guest with us, Dheeraj Gupta. Dheeraj, welcome to the Habit Coach podcast.
Hey Ashton, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure. Dheeraj, quickly, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what all you do?
Okay, so hi everyone. This is Dheeraj Gupta. I'm founder and managing director Jumboking, the burger born in India. And we are now officially the third largest burger brand in the country. And we are a food company. And the idea is to create the first, not the first, maybe one of the many, many billion-dollar food brands which are going to emerge from this country. India has a very, very vast variety of menu and, the cuisines that are available. And I think India's time has come to take on and take India out into the world.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
If you start thinking all India and if you start thinking about raising India, then you're not thinking only about your business as something small, but you're thinking about something much larger.
Yeah, absolutely. I have for the longest time, I was observed as a student of marketing, as a student of finance in MBA. I was very keen to find out how things happen. How did other people achieve when they started? Because did they already have a lot of people agreeing with them? So if you look at sports, right? So it took a PV Sindhu to go and win at the world level for us Indians to start believing in ourselves that we can do something in badminton, right?
Correct.
And then you have Saina Nehwal was the first one who won. So my bad. So then people keep coming, and we are like suddenly
They're like, oh, it's possible. So let me also try.
And Indians are good at badminton. So when that keeps on happening in other fields, which will happen in all sports arenas, I think we will start believing ourselves. So, but the first person has it the toughest.
Correct.
Right, because so my daughter used to play table tennis when she was 10 years old, and what I realized is that the ambition of the coaches at that time was to get a railway job and a India job. People were not thinking of an Olympic gold medal.
Correct.
So I said that no, I need to see that kind of stuff happening for the future generations to do well.
I think that's the thing, right? The environment that you create for yourself, how are they thinking? Where is it that they're going? It's going to definitely guide you in that direction. If everyone's thinking small, you can't possibly think bigger than that.
Okay, absolutely. And as a 10-year-old, you have your coach who has to think for you, right?
Correct.
But as a 35-year-old businessman, as a 40-year-old businessman, you're thinking for yourself. Yeah.
And in fact, so I've known you for many, many years in the past, and I know how focused you are and how driven you were at that point of time when we were working together. Tell me, where does that come from? How does that focus arise?
Okay, that's a good question, because I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and it was my grandfather who really was the rags to riches story. And, there are so many books that have been written about how the first generation makes money, the second generation maintains it, and the third generation loses it.
Correct.
So technically, I'm the third generation. So I
have to prove everybody wrong.
So I think we got lucky where somewhere I felt that, I've been lucky to have been born into this family. What if I can make this wealth into 100x? Right? And go, because it's a platform which has been provided to a platform to play with, to grow with,
Correct.
Right? Not to waste away. So somewhere that came in, and it worked.
So that was that one idea, that ambition about saying that whatever I've been given, how do I take this as a launching pad for something bigger? That is the mindset that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I had started reading after my MBA. Our professor, he used to have this entire library, and tabhi WhatsApp nahi tha, so there was, we could not message our friends, so we used to pass around chits, we'd meet after lunch or we'd meet whatever, that used to happen. So we never took those lectures seriously, and the library periods were always meant to only make plans, right? But then the moment I finished my college, I got bitten by this entrepreneurial bug, and I wanted to find out, how did Ray Kroc build McDonald's? What we see today is very different. But what were the first 5 stores, the first 10 stores? How did they happen? Did he have a lot of money? Did he have a very large market? Did he, how easy or difficult was it for him? And I found that it was bloody tough.
Yeah.
There people were not believing what he was doing because he was very focused on hamburgers. Actually, it was started by the Ray Kroc. By the McDonald brothers,
right? Yeah.
by the McDonald brothers, and then Ray Kroc took it from them. But they did not believe in the scale ka potential. Right? It was Ray Kroc who came in with that understanding. Then I got to escape was how was Starbucks built? How did Howard Schultz start the first store, and how did Fred DeLuca build Subway? Right? So fascinating stories of how each of these entrepreneurs had no one except themselves believing in what they were doing. And they have built multi-billion-dollar brands which are iconic and spread all across the world.
And you said something so important. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off here. Which is this aspect that nobody believed in what they were doing, right? People will laugh at you when you tell them your dreams, right? That's how it starts off with. Did you also face that as well? People was just like...
Oh yeah, for me it was crazy because, as I said, I came from a reasonably well-to-do family, and my first business, I had read this report by McKinsey that the Indian mithai business is a 10,000 crore business. I'm a freshly minted MBA, and I'm like, wow, this looks like a huge opportunity.
Let's make mithai.
And we were from that business. Our family background was mithai.
Okay.
So I'm like, wow, I'm going to organize this. And at the age of, I think in the first 2.5 years, I had lost about 55 lakh rupees. And it was at that time, it was a lot of money.
Correct.
And I was super underconfident कि बस ये क्या हो गया? Life is supposed to be very easy. Our MBA, my project reports were very good. I used to score well. And this was perfectly researched. I had done all my homework. How could this have gone wrong?
Correct. Paper, it was perfect.
It should have worked.
Yeah, correct.
And it did not. And then for a year, I was not doing anything because I had to figure out, what went wrong. And the next idea that comes to me is that let us brand the Vada Pav. And that's how Jumboking was born. And I think my dad must have been like, I spent so much money on your education. Right? I got you to do a hotel management. That's what you wanted to do. And we said, mat kar, bawarchi banega, but you wanted to do that. Then you did your MBA, and we told you go abroad. Your brother has gone abroad. You said, mujhe India mein karna hai, because if I have to do business in India, I'd rather do my MBA here. So like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do anything straight? You start a mithai business which bombs. Now you want to do vada pav of all things. I said that, no, I feel this has a lot of potential. And I think my friends used to tease me. They said, you're not telling us you've been thrown out of the family. Otherwise, why the hell would an MBA start a vada pav business?
Correct.
But so I was doing my research and said, but one of the largest categories which is organized was this entire vada pav business. I said, let us go ahead and organize it. It's a different story that now we are a burger. We'll come to that.
Correct.
Yeah.
The transition took place somewhere. The pivot happened. No, but to end with the mithai story, 55 lakhs gone. One is, what is your mindset? How do you know that, okay, bus ho gaya, I need to try something else?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question, because when I reflect back, we had to increase shelf life of mithai for it to work, because we had to package it. And I was going to DRDO. DRDO is Defense Research Organization. They do all the food research on how to increase shelf life of food for people, for our army, which is fighting at Siachen Glacier, etc. Right? So they have a lot of scientists. Then there's something called CFTRI, right? They were doing research on how to increase shelf life of foods. And what I realized is increasing the shelf life of Indian sweetmeats, which are milk-based or, mawa, khoya-based, is very difficult. And so there are some materials which naturally lend themselves to increasing their shelf life. Like chocolates is something which falls in that category. And and the packaging materials were not available in India at that time. I'm talking of 1998, 99, when, we were not where we are today as a country. So the packing material was available in Malaysia. But just importing it and then packing the Indian food and then taking it to market, it would have cost a bomb. Plus, as in I'm sure even today a heart would sink if someone gives you a rasgulla and says, hey, this is 3 months old. You like a boss? What are you doing?
Fresh 3 months old.
So it was a mindset which would have to get changed.
Correct.
And which would require a lot of investment in marketing. And I realized that I'm completely undercapitalized. I cannot do concept selling.
Correct.
So that's when I said, okay, not the right time. I should get out of it. And this is a free idea I'm giving out on your podcast. It is still $1 billion opportunity. And if someone wants to do it, I'm happy to.
It's a sweet deal.
Yeah. I'm happy to be their guide.
But like mithai, you don't put more sugar in it and the shelf life increases. Not one of those kinds of things. It's not like jams. It's just like...
Sugar will be attacked first by the bacteria.
That way.
They love it.
Okay. Cancelled plan. Okay, so then mithai ended and then you thought of Jumboking and Vada Pav and moving from there.
Yes.
What was that like? What was the initial journey of that part?
So I was very, largely influenced by this person. His name is Al Rice. He's written this book called Focus. And in that book, he has talked about why, almost 98% of all brands that you and I consume, they come out of the US.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So burgers. So say food. Pizza is Italian food but gets branded by an American.
Correct. Domino's and all of that. Correct.
Domino's, Pizza Hut, coffee, all of these brands, Coke, Nike, Adidas, any of these brands.
The product came from other places, but the brand came from America.
Brand creation is happening in America. So what is it that they are doing differently which the world is not understanding? Right? So they talk about focus, how American companies, they are super laser sharp focused on one consumer need and then they exclude everything else and then they go and attack that market opportunity. While in India and I think rest of most of the world, we try to go with, hey, no, if I'm opening a family restaurant, I need the father, I need the mother and the kid and the grandfather also to have something to eat.
Correct.
While the same McDonald's Domino's when it opens up in India, we quietly go and have a burger at the McDonald's store and a pizza at the Domino's store. But at just for example, like a Shiv Sagar, you want to go and have everything under the sun.
Correct. I'm going to a South Indian restaurant to have pav bhaji. That is the mindset.
Yes, it happens. It happens all the time. And so there's of course a lot. You do an 80-20 analysis on your menu. All restaurateurs should do it and they can do it. And they'll realize that people actually pick their favorites. So Ashton, let me ask you, what is your favorite South Indian food?
Dosa.
Where do you go for it?
Any of these small little places that are popular for dosas.
So which one was the last one you visited?
There was one place in Lower Parel, I forget the name.
Okay. So Chinese food. Where do you go?
Don't have Chinese food actually.
Okay, so what is your favorite food?
Right now steaks. So there's a place called La Loca Maria that I like in Bombay that has steaks. So that's what I'm at. So
you will go to that restaurant for that same steak.
It's for the dish.
For the dish.
And I take my friends for that dish. Like, let's go here I want you to have the steak that I like.
So the common mistake restaurateurs make is to increase sales, they add more menu.
Correct.
While they actually need to remove everything else and become even better at what they are really famous for.
But that's the exact opposite of the Baskin-Robbins model, right? That is, we have lots of flavors and people only buy 2.
They have 31 flavors. That's why it's 31 Baskin-Robbins.
Correct.
And but see, still the focus is around ice creams only. They are not going and adding
waffle cone and waffle this
so many other
that.
things. So any brand you'll see which has become large, they have a very clear focus. And that's how, that's what we realize, that there's something which is going wrong. And I'd much rather, learn from the American companies because they are more successful and drop this excuse of it works in America and it will not work in India.
Correct. Before this podcast, we were discussing about your habits and we'll get into that. But what are the habits of companies? It's very interesting to think of it as only individuals have habits, but companies also have habits, like in the form of their systems and processes, because that's ultimately what habits are. Have you identified certain things that companies over the entire gambit do extremely well, like 3 things that they do extremely well, which are fantastic habits for us to follow?
So, I think we picked this up at one of the training programs that I had gone to. There's this a business coach by the name of Rajiv Talreja, and he spoke of the 3 C's, which is that a company really needs to do very well, and the management needs to do really well. The first C was clarity, to provide clarity to the team member of what is expected of him. 99% of people, the bosses, they themselves are not clear and they don't provide that clarity to their team members. While the 1% who succeed wildly, they are crystal clear kya karna hai. And they ensure that each of their departments are crystal clear of what is expected of them in terms of quality, in terms of pricing, all of those parameters.
Perfect.
Right?
So clarity, I think this is something that translates immediately to your life as well as a person.
Yes.
Right? In the way that you interact with the world around you, clarity in your communication, in your thoughts.
Yes.
Lovely.
Then the second part is your competence, right? Which means that, Indian businesses, sometimes we tend to get in people and we feel, कि सिखा लेंगे, train कर लेंगे. Right? While of course you may do that, but constantly checking on your team, because at the end of the day, if you have to build a scalable large business, you're going to need very, very good people. You have to keep on evaluating. First, understand what is the competence required, like say for marketing, for product development, for supply chain, for training, for IT infrastructure, etc. Keep checking on the competence parameters, and more important than that, very aggressively keep on training your team to up their competence.
Interesting.
Right? Because people have to be made.
Correct.
You are never going to get them ready-made. Provide them that environment, right, where it's okay not to know, but it's okay not to know after 3 months also. You say that was nahi aata hai, koi baat nahi, seekhte hain. Let us figure out where you can learn it from. So first was clarity, second is competence, and the third part is the third C is culture.
Okay.
Right? Where it has to, it's a culture that you create. A culture of fun, a culture where, everyone is, we, in our company, we call it a game. The game culture or the blame culture, right?
Right.
So I say, boss, I am playing this game of building $1 billion business. And I'm keeping track. The turnover, your profit, etc. is a way of keeping score.
Correct.
Of where you've reached and how far you. It's like I run marathons, right? I just completed a half marathon, so I need to know that I have crossed the 5 kilometer mark. How much I need to go, and the 10 kilometer mark, how much I need to go. So it's like you build that game culture in your organization where it's like, if I like running, right? Now I get up and go for my runs not because someone is forcing me, right? So it does not tire me out. Similarly, I tell people that if you've come to work, come here to work only if you are going to be able to enjoy it.
Correct.
काम तो करना है, घर चलाना है, right? So
if you have to do it, might as well enjoy it.
Might as well enjoy it. Go to a place and go to a role, go to a company which you are going to enjoy.
Correct.
Over here, if you have come into Jumboking, guys, let's enjoy this. And as the company grows, everyone grows, and that's how we should be playing this game.
Beautiful. So I love this. So getting your culture and getting your competence in terms of your skill set, your ability, and probably the confidence in that competence as well, right?
Yeah.
Many people have the ability, but they just don't feel confident enough to put themselves out there.
Yeah. Correct. Maybe the culture, if you improve it, where people are not trying, there's no politics in your organization.
Absolutely.
So people are able to express themselves freely.
Now, when you're in a high, powered working environment like you've created also, how do you manage to balance your own life with it? Everyone keeps talking about this balance, work-life balance, and all these other kinds of balance. How do you manage that?
So, I think I stumbled upon the 5 a.m. club that Robin Sharma speaks about, the book.
Correct.
And my daughter, she was doing some course which was in the morning. So I had to just kind of be awake to... she had to go somewhere to do that course. And I was getting up in the morning. I said, what the hell now? Let me not go back to sleep because I have to go and pick her up. And I started reading this 5 a.m. club book by Robin Sharma. And I was super excited. I said, well, this is so cool. And her course was for 4 days only. And in the book, there's a 66-day challenge that he talks about of waking up at 5. Yes. So I said, hey, let me do this. So marathoners, typically we take on these crazy challenges.
Correct, absolutely.
So
we'll see what happens towards 66.
Karte maza aayega.
Maza aayega.
So I said 66 days karna hai. And the first 4, 5, 6 days I was happy. I was getting up and I would just take a book. I finished reading this book. And now I was like, main uth to gaya hu. Everyone is sleeping. What do I do? Right? And I literally had to start filling in my time. So one of my friends spoke to me about this Art of Living course where they do the, all the Kriya and the, various breathing exercises. I said, chalo, ye join kar lete hain. And that was for 45 minutes. The entire process takes about 45 minutes. So I filled in my 5:15 to 6 with that.
Lovely. So almost 1 hour done.
Almost 1 hour done. And then anyway, this was during the lockdown.
Correct.
So 6 to 7 used to be our Zoom class for the online workout session. So I like, chalo, 6 to 7 also taken care of. And then 7 to 8, I would spend time with my family. Right? So Robin Sharma speaks of the mindset, the soul set, the heart set, and the health set. So, so I like, chalo, okay, all the 4 sets are kind of getting taken care of. And the game changer was waking up at 5 a.m.
So that was the main thing. It gave you that ability to do these things.
Absolutely.
Waking up at 5.
Because if you do the math, earlier I used to wake up at 8 o'clock. And now I had started getting up at 5. And I put my pen and paper and calculator, and was 3 hours a day into 365 days. I actually have 1 full month extra every year.
Correct.
That's the amount of time that got produced, which I was sleeping.
And but you started sleeping earlier also, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. So if you wake up at 5 a.m.
You can't do 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
You can't last beyond 10. And so...
then how do you say no to social engagements and things like that? That is the thing that I also face challenges with.
That's a great question. So I love my friends and I love my parties. And so this was... the biggest fear when I talk to my friends, hey, join the 5 a.m. club. They're like, boss, no, I'm not giving up my social life.
Correct. How dare you?
I said, boss, I'm here. I'm with y'all. So I flipped it around. I said, okay, it's your birthday. We are going out. Now no one will go home till 5 in the morning. So we are partying the whole night. And I say, we will not, we'll be together till 5. And then I'm going to go home. I'm going to do my morning 2-hour thing. And then I'm going to go to sleep.
Okay.
So I literally got the best of both worlds, and I had, this was my way of telling myself that socializing or giving up social life should not be the reason why I don't maintain being a part of the 5 a.m. club.
Correct. So the social life should be adding to it, but it should not be subtracting these 3 hours that you were getting otherwise.
So I absolutely prepare for the day I have to go out, and it's going to be a 5 a.m. I am super charged up, and
then you do your workouts. And now that life has opened up and you're not in lockdown anymore, how has that changed?
So I think this was a good habit that got... Now anyway, the days have got filled. And during the lockdown, it used to be very boring because 5 baje utke, you have got up, you finish everything, and what do? You're sitting at home the whole day. It was even tougher at that time. Now there's so much more to do. So
it's easier right now.
It's easier, much easier. Yes, yes. And my friend, one of my running friends, he gave me this, trick where, and even Robin Sharma talks about it. I'd attended one of his live programs where, you can take a power nap. So I take a 22-minute power nap every morning between 8 and 8:22.
Oh, you take a morning power nap?
Yes.
Okay.
22 minutes.
So you finish the morning routine, quick 22-minute power nap, and then you're fresh for the day.
Yes, fresh for the day. And it works wonders. I'm full of energy throughout the day. And you will never see me tired or, this guy woke up at 5, so he's looking sleepy. None of that.
It's a beautiful habit. I'm going to do an episode on this.
The
morning power nap as opposed to your afternoon power nap that most people are.
Robin Sharma does his power naps at 4 o'clock, 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
So, but I think for us as business owners, it's very difficult to do it at 4 in the afternoon because there is going to be work.
And meetings are there at that point of
Meetings
time.
are there at that time. And so I think the morning power nap, it works as powerfully.
I think it's a very good idea that's there. So when you apart from that, what happens the rest of the day? How do you have habits, or what habits do you follow at work? What habits that you follow?
Oh wow! So I think my life has been full of mentors. There's this guy called Vern Harnish. He is a business coach who spoke about the power of huddles.
The power of huddles.
The cadence of huddles. So we have a 15-minute morning huddle with our core team every morning from 10 to 10:15.
Okay.
Which becomes a 3-hour weekly huddle every Monday, starting at 10, going up to 1. And then we have a monthly huddle. So every fourth or fifth Monday, fifth or sixth Monday becomes the monthly huddle. And then we have a quarterly review, which is a 2-day event. So every second Monday of every new quarter becomes the quarterly review. And so each of these huddles are designed to meet business objectives. So what we have to achieve over the next 1 year, over the next 1 quarter, over the next 1 month, over the next 1 week, over the next 24 hours. And the entire team is aligned in that fashion. All the 6 departments have clear-cut things of what they need to get to by the quarter. And typically in high, fast growth companies, we say for us every quarter is like a year, every month is like a quarter, every week is like a month. That is the pace at which we need to keep on doing our huddles and keep on growing. And then each of these, the senior leadership team, they go and huddle with their team from 10:15 to 10:30.
Interesting. So they will have their own team huddles.
15 minutes. So you'll see the alignment of the entire work process is happening literally every single day. And everybody's aligning to what has to be done by the end of the quarter.
Interesting. So there's that whole system in place only on this. And that's clarity of communication right there.
Absolutely. So we say that's how it becomes a game. Because we do this huddle 15 minutes. And then you are free the entire day. And
How do you deal with this aspect of it, right? I know that you are focused and, like you said right in the beginning of the podcast, that focus was the main word for the company as well. How do you maintain focus for people in the organization? There are lots of company owners who are coming to me and saying, Ash, I don't know, but like the company or the people that are working just don't know how to focus on the jobs that they're doing. How do you maintain that?
I think...
with so much distraction happening around social media and all of those things. That
it is a case of birds of a feather flock together. If you are focused and you're getting results, you automatically become an inspiration for your team. So people who will stick with you will be people who... It's like, say, if Apple has a culture of innovation, right? You'll see the most innovative people gravitate towards that company. Right? So we are a food company, right? QSR. So for us, these huddles and discipline and giving the exact same food every single day, every single hour, out of every store that is there, that is what we have to super specialize in.
Correct.
Right? So for us, regimentation, discipline, systems, everything is only about that.
So the mindset of the entire organization has to be around that.
Yes.
The first letter in QSR is quick. So
quick. Absolutely. So what I have seen is there have been mishires, people who have come and they just did. That's where the culture part of the C's, competence, clarity, culture, the culture part of the organization. So like for us, all of us in our company, we wear white shirts to work every single day. Now that is boring. Right? But so I tell people that no, our staff at the stores are in uniforms. And we are all going to be in field inspecting or doing our what we do when we go out into the field. We can't be seen in T-shirts. So if you are a part of a retail organization, there will be a certain dress code which has to be followed.
Correct.
Walmart, as in, Sam Walton used to famously say, if you want to be in retail, as in, if you can't work weekends, don't be in retail.
Absolutely. And if you can't work all the time, don't be in a restaurant, right?
Yes,
That's what
Yeah.
I know people who started
If you
restaurants.
can't work long hours.
Yeah. Like, no, I don't have any personal time. I was like, yeah, but then do you realize this before you started a restaurant?
Yes.
You should realize
You
that.
realize that now, you can get out of it.
Before getting to the restaurant thing, there's an interesting question I had for you, which is that imagine you had this opportunity right now to talk to the people who are working in various organizations. So I'm not talking about entrepreneurs right now, but people who are working in different organizations. What are 2 or 3 tips that you would give them on, how they can work better or work more focused or align themselves and think of their job as play or a game instead of, a chore that they have to do?
So, Ashton, it's amazing how, companies, they have an ambition and an aim for themselves, right? Like, we want to become a $1 billion corporation, right? And there is a business plan, whether it will take 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, whatever that thing may be, and where we want to get in 5 years, where we want to get by the next year, by the next quarter, and everyone in the company, the professionals, are supposed to align to that. So we took a very different route. We said, we just had a training program where, so I was talking to my department heads. I said, hey, now for the next 1 hour, hum company ko bhul jate hain. You as a professional, you have selected marketing. You have selected finance. Someone else had selected supply chain. Someone else had selected training. I said, it's now only about you. Let us make a life plan for you. And if anything and everything was possible, what would you design your life as? It was a very, a different way of looking at it.
Very interesting.
And so I'll take the example of the marketing person, right? So she said that, people are scared actually to even think about
it's a scary thing. You can't think of it.
They have come so far in life without having a clear plan for themselves. Yes. They are always aligning with what the company wants. So she said that, no, I would want to be the CMO, the chief marketing officer of the company. So I said, wow, that's great, very nice. Which company?
Oh, so like full stumped.
You don't have to be a part of Jumboking only.
Correct.
So she said, no, why are you asking me that? I said that, no. So when you want to be the CMO, let's be open. Now it's only about you. She said that, no, if Jumboking is wanting to become a $1 billion organization, I would want to be worthy of becoming a CMO of a company like this. So I said, great. So, which means that there is an alignment between your personal ambition for yourself and the ambition that the company has for itself. Right? Now, let us chart out what skills and competence you will need to acquire over the next 1 year, over the next 3 years, because the company is going to grow at a certain pace.
Correct.
Right? So what are the skills you will have to acquire so that if after 2 years, 3 years, when the pool is going to open up and we are going to be able to pay a lot more for the CMO, right? You should be the number one person who is ticking all the boxes when it comes to applying for that. So
I don't need to look outside. It's right here within.
Go, let's see, how does a CMO think? How do they talk? How do they dress up? What do they do? So network, figure out, कि CMO बनने के लिए क्या-क्या चाहिए होता है. I think so. What was happening was that it was a lot of very genuine, heartfelt conversation which was happening, where we were just saying that no, everyone has to win.
Correct.
When this race reaches, the destination that it wants to. So I think now this is. So you asked me what a professional should do. I think the professional should have a plan for themselves and then go and join a company which will help them fulfill that plan and then work very, very hard. See, I may want to play for India, cricket for India, but I will also have to then prepare accordingly.
Yes.
Right? So
put in that effort.
Put in that effort. So am I willing to do it, or it's just that everybody wants to play but are not willing to put the effort? So as a professional, treat it in the same way.
That's very interesting. It's almost like thinking of yourself as a business, right? It's almost like Dheeraj Private Limited, Ashton Private Limited, and you're creating the same goals and direction the way that a company would structure it for itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's interesting is that you don't just work with people in your organization, but you have these franchisees that are there. That means these are other people with their own cultures, with their own mindsets and things like that happen. How do you manage to tackle that and bring that into the organization as well?
So I think it's the best way to ensure your success is that you ensure a lot of other people succeed. Right? So franchising is typically about that. So a person who becomes a Jumboking franchise, right? So we say that, okay, hey, this is going to cost you about 25 to 30 lakhs to invest, and you can make about 1 lakh a month. That is the kind of a 40-50% ROI you can get. Now, let us decide whether 1 lakh a month, does that excite you? There may be someone, who may be making more money. Already, I'll say that, this is not for you.
Correct.
There's someone who says, sir, pakka ban jayega na itna, kadbad to nahi hoga. So, those kind of questions they have. So we say that, no, you'll have to, there is no 100% surety in this. There is risk, but you can be reasonable, 80% chance of success that if you buy a franchise, you will succeed. So, and then I also add a layer to that. I said that don't come here for one store. Right? In the first store, we will test you whether you kept your commitment of working very hard on your business or not. You will test us whether we as a company supported you or not. Right? You should be ambitious. I will put up a second store, a third store, a fourth store, a fifth store. Because the business is very, very scalable. Right? So what happens is that over here also, I'm, talking to that guy and saying that tumhara na, your life will be set, as in the kind of money that you can make. We have got people who are, in the vicinity of earning 1 crore a year, which this was someone who was getting excited with earning 1 lakh a month. He's earning 1 crore a year. This is huge, much bigger. So that is how the ambition of the entrepreneurs in India, right? Where I'm saying that you should be ready to do the full system creation and all of those things, or you go and take a franchise, become a part of a good franchise, and start working with good people, and the company keeps growing, you keep growing. So you're seeing there is alignment happening with the franchisees on their growth, with the professionals on their growth, with the suppliers on their growth. So everybody is aligned to growth, and everybody is growing because everyone else is growing.
So it's that growth mindset, that culture, that is what you're actually looking for.
Yes. And people, they filter out. We have people who come in, they want to do very well, but they are not willing to put in the effort.
Or is it that they can't follow systems? What is it? Like, is it a mindset that follows systems? Is it
various things? Various things. So we of course try to filter out a lot of so we have our prototypes kind of, that, okay, what is a good franchisee? So, we have, okay, these are the qualities that he should have. And then when we meet a new person, we are trying to look for those qualities in that person.
I think you need one presentation. What are the habits of a good franchisee?
Yeah.
Now that we're on this podcast, everything has to be. So what are the habits of a? Yeah.
They are there. We have these things listed.
Essential, right? Because otherwise you want the longevity of the franchisee as well. The longer that they are in the system, the more franchises they will open up, right? The more restaurants they have, and move from there.
Yeah, because otherwise they also waste their time and money. If you select everybody who walks through the door and is willing to make an investment, you are going to make more mistakes. They lose money and time. We as a brand, lose our credibility every time a store does not work. So we want to minimize the heartbreak on both the sides.
And as a franchisor, what is the hardest part of this whole franchisee process? Like, I know that you've written a book on 10X, which is basically 10 principles of of franchisee, what you look for,
Correct.
right? Location, etc., etc. What was the hardest part for you to create when you were creating this company for franchising?
I think the hardest part is that as a company, you make money last
Okay.
because you're investing so heavily in the systems and processes that if you're looking at making a money for yourself from day one, it's going to be really difficult. Because the franchisee is coming to you because you are expected to have all the processes in place.
Correct.
So it takes a little more time because this is a scale game, and once you cross a certain number of stores, then the royalty that you're collecting every week becomes large enough to not only fund your organization cost but also throw up a profit. So one was this. Second is, see, I may understand that a very sharp focus on the menu, on the customer need is required. But the franchisee is coming from a world where everywhere he's saying, everyone has got so many products. Why are you limiting us? Why do we have such few items? So till you get that proof of concept, it was really tough because in the restaurant business, the answer to poor sales is add more products.
Correct.
And I was like, no, that is not the answer. But I did not have the proof of concept. Today there is proof of concept, right? That we have a lot of, so many of our stores which are working with the menu that we have.
Paradox of choice. You have more things, you don't know what to go for. What do you eat?
One is that. Second is the supply chain becomes super complex.
Yeah.
So it burdens, it increases costs, it brings in inefficiencies. We are buying material from, these very large manufacturers. So for us, every patty is a minimum of 10 tons a month. That is 10,000 kilos of each patty every month. That is the MOQ, the minimum order quantity.
Correct.
So ensuring those kind of volumes requires, it's like a chicken and egg situation. What will come first?
And do you have butterflies in your stomach every time you put in a new thing in the menu or pull out one?
No, now we know because that's what there's the critical mass on number of stores is there. We know we'll add this product, ye itna ho jayega. And so the new product development team, of course, is always, their motivation is that the product that I'm adding should do better than the one that I'm pulling out.
Correct. Then
so
there's always that unknown little element in it.
No, with experience you get that. There is of course an unknown element where it's like Rahul Dravid has a tough choice. He has to choose 11 players, right? So the one
which
who's
do you keep
moving,
which
So and then whether you want to give that one player, how many matches do you want to give him, right, before he starts performing? Because there are going to be other people who are willing to, immediately, start questioning you about your choices.
There are people listening to this podcast and from different backgrounds. The people who are first jobbers, just started working, some people in college, some people who've been working professions for a while, some entrepreneurs. What is the mindset that they need or to become a franchisee? What I mean by this is that for many people, that is not an option that is common. Right? It's always like franchise, matlab other dusre log karte hain. I go to a restaurant which is a franchise, but I've never thought of starting my own. Right? What is the mindset that is needed in order to either start the franchisee, or what is the aha moment that is needed to?
So, I think in the food business, most of the people have this dream of, I want to have my own restaurant. I don't know, if I speak to 10 professionals, 8 of them will, if I ask them retirement plan kya hai, nahi, khud ka restaurant dalna hai. I don't know why it is like that.
Khilana hai logo ko.
They feel कि restaurant डालने में बहुत margins है, बहुत पैसे बनेंगे, and party करेंगे. I'm going to sit on the seaside with my beer, and everybody is going to be coming and buying from a restaurant. They have that Goa scene in their mind, I think. So, but the restaurant business is very tough. It's a lot of work. So, I think it is the success of one franchisee which creates that ripple effect of in his building, in his friend circle, in his, that society that they may be living in, where success leads to more success. Right. And then, of course, books like talking about the 10x advantages of franchising. So this attempt is to tell people that don't try to run your own business. It is very, very difficult. There is a 80% failure rate in the restaurant business within the first 2 to 3 years. But if you take up a franchise business, there is an 80% chance of success. Right? And we have had people who came in, they put up a franchise, they have learnt everything, and then they go and put up a second store with us, and they put up a third store with us, they put up a fourth store with us. So people used to say, hey, aren't you scared you're teaching everyone your business? I said, we are charging 6% royalty on their sales, and plus a 4% towards A&M. So that's a total of 10%. I said, as long as I am focused on adding massive, massive value to my franchisee, where he should say they are giving us all of this and only charging 6%. He is never going to leave me. Right? So keep everything transparent. Let him know how the purchases are happening. There are certain good practices of franchising, that you don't charge commissions on the supply side.
Right.
People would be like, why would I go and try to do the whole thing on my own? Why would I go and try to put up another franchise if this is the one which is giving me such great results? So our ambition is to become the most sought after franchise in the country, where the person should be like, if I can get a Jumboking franchise in my city, I'm set.
That should be the goal. How to get there. From an outsider point of view, I was obviously reading your book, and from an outsider point of view, when we think about franchises and franchisees, we only think of one word called systems, right? Like when you think of McDonald's and you go there and you said that I have the McDonald's burger here or I have it abroad, it's the same. Correct. Right? That system, that making sure that the uniformity is there everywhere, the same experience. In the book, that was not necessarily the first part of it, right? The first part was location and all those other aspects of it. Where does the system part come from? Or like from an outside point of view, it's systems. What is it from a franchise owner point of view?
So I have spoken about the 10x, the 10 advantages of becoming part of a franchise system. Each of those processes and the value additions that happen is an independent system by itself.
In itself.
So even the real estate process is a system which has got, we have honed that skill over the last 20 years of understanding where a store will work, what sale it will do, what rent should be paid over there, such that the franchisee is going to make a reasonable profit. Right? So the restaurant business is all about location, location, location. So it's just like if you're in the right market, but on the wrong side of the road, or say if you are in the right market and the right side of the road, but on the wrong end of the street, that building, the business results are going to completely change.
Wow.
So we have had our fair share of failures, and I think we have learned more from our failures. So again, I think I had gone to R. Sriram of Crossword. I don't know if you...
Of course.
So I told him that we are putting up stores. Some of them are working and some of them are not working. And this is like, throwing darts in the dark. I don't know why this one worked, and I thought that one will really work, and I don't know why it failed. So he made me do this exercise. He said that, Dheeraj, look at the stores which did well and try and make a matrix of why it did well. More important than that, don't forget about the ones which is not, because they are like a bad dream you want to forget about. You don't want to talk about it. He said that, no, go back to those locations and use your mind to understand why didn't this one work.
Interesting.
Right?
So look at that failure, analyze it, study it, don't just try and shy away from it.
So that is what will teach you what you should stop doing. And we learned so much from there, and it was wonderful. So I think I've been blessed with mentors, and I have seeked them out actively. Yeah.
And how did you go? Actually, this is a nice topic about mentors. How do you select mentors? How do you discuss mentors? How do you create that aspect of it?
So, that's easy. So, I tell people, if you want to have a physique like Salman Khan, go and find who his coach is. right? If you want to dance like Hrithik Roshan, go and find out who his coach is, right? So that is how. So when I want to learn marketing, right? So I used to sit and watch, hey, which are the TV ads that I'm seeing the most? And there was, so at that time it used to be, a lot of these fog ads. Darshan Patel was the guy who, built that brand. And I used to see a lot of Kentaro, the water purifiers. So that was O.P. Gupta. I went out, figured out who these people are, where they live, what they do, and got in touch with them. And it's amazing how helpful these people are. And I said that, hey, I need to learn how to do marketing. They said, of course they'll not say, okay, good, very good, come, aa jao, bata dete hain. But, it was, you have to clear out your intention. What do you want to learn? Why you want to learn it? They are all very, very, very busy people. Right? But what I'm saying is once you decide कि ये सीखना है, and the more inexpensive way to learn is to learn it from others. So what I could learn from books, I learned from books. What I could learn from podcasts, I learned from podcasts. What I had to go and meet people, to learn from them. So that's where I went.
Yeah. It's the cheapest when you learn from other people's mistakes.
Yes.
Right? It's the most expensive when you say, no, I'll try it by myself and then see how it goes.
Yeah, because people say that the guy who built the light bulb?
Edison,
that famous, he failed 100 times. So I said, boss, why do you want to fail 100 times? If someone else has done it, just go and learn from them.
Correct.
You don't have to fail 100 times to then get it right.
And reinvent the light bulb.
Yes.
Yeah. Like lots of people I'm sure must be reaching out to you also saying, please mentor me, please mentor me. And you've been mentored by so many people. What are the traits of a good mentee? Not mentor, but like when you go as a mentee, what is the...
People should be coachable. A lot of people are not coachable.
Correct.
Right? So I would say that even today, my coach says I'm very coachable because when she says this is where you're getting stuck, you need to work on this for the next level of growth, I am very keen on understanding what she's saying, why she's saying it, and working on it. Right? So people get into this thing of, hey, either I know it all, right? Or the bigger trap is it worked for you, but it won't work for me. My circumstances are different.
Correct. You don't understand me.
You don't understand me. My business is different. So I just say, okay, good. Then why are you here? No. You tell me how should I do. I said, whatever I say, you are not going to implement it. So let's not waste each other's time.
Correct.
And so people used to come. So I said that a business owner, that's, the journey from 1 crore to 10 crores, the entrepreneur has a very, very different mindset and role that he plays. For the journey from 10 crores to 100 crores, his mindset has to change because that now you move from being the one who's doing everything to being the one who is building a team and you don't have the resources. So you're working with junior people. Right, where you literally feel that I would have done this much faster if I had done this on my own. But you cannot because you need to build a team.
Correct.
So that 10 to 100 crores ka journey is very, very different. And then the 100 crores to 1,000 crores ka journey is completely different because now you have the money to employ the team, to get in professionals. Right, and what becomes important is that you don't let the success get into your head and start doing 10 different things. You remain focused.
Right. Create that focus.
What made you succeed? You keep on doing more and more of that. Right? So many people get unfocused once they cross that 100 crore mark because they feel now I am arrived. I am the dude. So I am the next Elon Musk. That I am on my way. It's just a matter of time, and they start to doing weird things. So I tell people कि बस आप ना पहले ये 1 to 10 की journey complete करके आओ. It's like saying. If you have to get admission into IIM Ahmedabad, please first, clear this entrance exams. It shows that you're worthy of being a student of IIM Ahmedabad. Right? So somewhere, you have to be very careful on what kind of mentees you pick up.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's very important. Is the mindset itself for growth? Like one of the ways that I evaluate is if I tell somebody something and their first reply is but something. As soon as if I hear a but, it is over. Matlab, in my mind, that means you're not receptive right now.
Correct.
Once you grow to the point where you say yes and, then I understand it.
Yeah.
But then there's no point. Nothing I say is going to get into your head. So you start picking up these little aspects.
Yeah.
Amazing. Dheeraj, what's going to be happening next? What is the next many years plan that you have for yourself and for Jumboking?
So, my leadership coach, Meenu Mariel, I must mention her and talk about her. So, I was fortunate to have met her at an event where both of us, I don't know why we were at that event, because we didn't know anyone else, and we just landed up on the same standing table having dinner. So it was not even a sit-down table, and we just got talking. And she had been, doing this leadership coaching in England, right? And had worked with several very, very successful businesses. And then she went on her spiritual journey. She had shaved off her hair, went off to Bali, and was there for 8 years.
Wow.
And then she kind of re-emerged and said that, okay, I'm going back into the world, and I'm going to, talk about whatever I have learned. So I got very excited because I found, a coach who was not saying that, yes, ab maya hai, chhod do. Right? I had a coach who was saying that, boss, we have come into this world, let's really enjoy it. Right? Billionaire banna hai, ban jao na. Why are you feeling guilty about it? Right? Let us do it in the most ethical and amazing way possible.
The most fun way possible, right?
Most fun way possible. Yeah. Absolutely. So, and so while, in the coaching, so she talks of the, the 6 spectrum living, where all aspects of life are whole and complete. And she said, if you're running a business, it should not be that you don't have time for your family or your spiritual, kuch journey hai nahi, or you're, really failing on your health. Aapne business to bana liya, but, you have got high blood pressure and all the, ailments. So, I have been working with her, and so the idea is to build $1 billion business, to be continuously moving forward on the spiritual journey, be able to run a marathon even when I'm 75, hoping that I get there, and, have an amazing
150
set.
At least. You have to live till 150 at least. You can't be 75.
Utna, फिर बहुत ले लेंगे.
Next 75.
So, then, have a great set of friends, have a fabulous family, as in spend a lot of very quality time with parents, have an amazing, I have this amazing spouse, and, spend a lot of time with her. We still continue to be best friends. We were best friends and we got married, and then, we are still each other's best friends, be a great father. So, all of these aspects, and then also sharing with people, right? It's the environment of so many people shared, and they have written their books, and I benefited. Boss, let me go out and tell, boss, we can do everything that happens in America and India. Right? Very large brands are going to get created over here. We need to get focused. India, where there is enough money, and you just need to get the right products out. So it's like all the aspects of life should be whole and complete, and there has to be a plan for each of them.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So making sure all of this comes together.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think this is the last aspect that you spoke about. I think is key for many people to listen to, saying that you plan your life out in this way. You look at each of these aspects of your life, and then you evaluate. Is this what I really want? Is this what I really want? What is it that I actually want? Because we're living or we're going through life asleep. Right? We're not conscious of the way that we're changing our lives and what we want from it. So I think working with a coach like you're doing, I think just adds that element of awareness and consciousness.
We should get a coach. You look at the top performers in sports, they have a coach. We as business owners, we feel that we will do it on our own. Why? Get a coach. It helps.
Absolutely. Dheeraj, how can people get in touch with you, people who are listening to this? How can they continue this conversation with you?
So email would be best.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes.
What's your email address that you can give out?
So my official email ID is Dheeraj, DHEERAJ @Jumboking, that is JUMBOKING.co.in.
.co.in. Perfect. And we'll put it down in the show notes as well.
Cool.
Dheeraj, thank you so much for coming on the Habit Coach podcast.
Thank you, Ashton. It has been a pleasure and very inspiring for me to be here.
Thank you. And congratulations on your book. Lots of success to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.